They say wealth can buy everything, except the truth buried 6 feet under. I'm standing in my husband's grave, and I can't cry. Not because I don't want to, because I've already emptied myself dry over the past 3 months. Damon Blackwell, my late husband, billionaire, empire builder, the man whose name opened doors across 3 continents, is gone. And all I feel now is this hollow anger that won't let me rest. The rain is coming down hard, turning the marble headstone dark and slick. I clutch my black umbrella tighter, watching the water stream, down his name carved in gold letters. Damon Blackwell, beloved husband, visionary, leader, lies, all of it. Our marriage died years before he did, but I played my part, smiled for the cameras, attended the galas, wore the diamonds he bought me like they meant something. And now here I am, visiting a grave I don't even want to be at because the lawyers say it looks good for the estate proceedings. That's when I see her, a woman, thin as a rail, clothes torn and muddy. She's hunched over Damon's grave, sobbing like her world just ended. And in her arms, she's holding a little boy who can't be more than 6 years old. His face is pressed in her shoulder, and he's shaking. My chest tightens, not with sympathy, with rage. This cemetery is private, gated. You need clearance to even drive through. My security team is supposed to be watching every entrance. So how did this homeless woman and her child get in here? And why is she crying at my husband's grave like she has any right to be here? I march down the stone path, my heels clicking loud enough to cut through the rain. My security guards start moving toward her, but I wave them off. I want to handle this myself. Step away from the grave, I say. My voice comes out cold and sharp. The woman flinches. She looks up at me with wide, terrified eyes. Her face is hollow, like she hasn't eaten in days. Her hair is soaked and tangled, sticking to her cheeks. But it's her eyes that stop me for half a second. They're familiar. I don't know why. I'm sorry, she whispers, pulling her son closer. I needed to tell him thank you. I freeze. Thank you? My mind goes blank. Then it catches fire. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Damon Blackwell with a lot of things. A shark in a suit. A man who crushed competitors without blinking. A husband who barely spoke to me unless we had an audience. But charitable? Generous? The kind of man a homeless woman would thank at his grave? No, that's not the man I knew. Who are you? I demand. She swallows hard. Her hands are trembling. My name is Tanisha. Tanisha Rains. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. And your husband, he saved my son's life. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. Save her son's life? He's still here, at the boy in her arms. His face is bruised. There's a faint scar near his temple, still healing. He looks up at me with big, scared eyes, and I feel something crack inside me. But I don't let it show. That's impossible, I say flatly. My husband didn't help people. He used them. Tanisha's face crumples. I know you don't believe me, but he did. He found us when no one else would. He paid for my son's surgery. He told me to disappear. And then 2 weeks later, her voice breaks. He was dead. The rain is pounding harder now. My umbrella feels useless. Water is running down my neck, soaking into my coat. But I can't move. I can't breathe. Because if what she's saying is true, then everything I thought I knew about Damon Blackwell is wrong. And if he helped her, why? What was he hiding? What did this woman and her son have to do with the man who died in his sleep 3 months ago with 10 lawsuits pending and half the city wanting him gone? I step closer. My voice drops. Tell me everything. Right now. But before Tanisha can answer, my head of security grabs my arm. Mrs. Blackwell, we need to go. There's a situation. I yank my arm away. I'm not finished. Ma'am, someone's been following you. We need to leave. Now. My blood runs cold. I look back at Tanisha. She's clutching her son tighter, eyes wide with fear. Like she knows exactly who's following me. And maybe she's the reason why. What would you do if a stranger appeared at your loved one's grave claiming they owed them everything? Drop your thoughts below. I don't sleep that night. I'm back at the estate, pacing my bedroom like a caged animal. The rain is still coming down outside, hammering against the windows. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face. Tanisha Rains. That haunted look in her eyes. The way she held her son like the world was about to rip him away from her. And those words, "He saved my son's life." No, Damon didn't save people. He owned them, controlled them, used them until they were no longer useful, then discarded them like broken tools. So why would he secretly help a homeless woman and her child? What was he hiding? I sit at Damon's old desk in his private office. The one he never let me enter. The one that's now mine, along with everything else. His empire, his secrets, his ghosts. I pull open the bottom drawer. Inside are files, stacks of them, legal documents, contracts, offshore accounts, business deals I never knew about, but nothing about a woman named Tanisha Rains. I pick up the phone and call Marcus Webb, Damon's personal assistant. He's been with Damon for 15 years. If anyone knows what my husband was hiding, it's him. He answers on the second ring. "Mrs. Blackwell, it's late. I need you here. Now." There's a pause, then a sigh. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hang up. While I wait, I open Damon's laptop. It's password protected, but I know the code. He was predictable in some ways. I type in the numbers. Our wedding anniversary, the one thing he never forgot, and the screen unlocks. His email is a mess. Hundreds of unread messages, business proposals, threats, lawsuits. But buried in the clutter, I find something strange. A folder labeled TR Private. My heart starts pounding. I click it open. Inside are documents, bank transfers, medical bills, a property deed, all dated within the last 2 years. And every single one is connected to a name I now recognize. Tanisha Rains. Damon transferred money to her. Thousands of dollars. He paid for medical treatments. He bought her a property under a fake name. And the last transfer? It was made 2 weeks before he died. I feel sick. Marcus arrives exactly 20 minutes later. He's in his usual suit, crisp and clean despite the rain. He steps into the office, sees the look on my face, and stops. "You found the files," he says quietly. I stand up slowly. "You knew. I was wondering when that name would come up," he admits. He looks tired, older than I remember, like he's been carrying this weight for too long. "Tell me everything," I say through gritted teeth. Marcus takes a seat without being invited. He runs a hand over his face, then speaks. 2 years ago, your husband asked me to handle something quietly. A woman named Tanisha Rains. She was a nurse at Blackwell Medical Center, one of the hospitals Damon's company funded. I crossed my arms. What happened? She discovered something. Evidence that the hospital was being used for illegal drug trials. Experimental treatments on patients who didn't consent. When she tried to report it, she was fired. Her reputation destroyed. And then things got worse. My stomach drops. What do you mean worse? People started following her. Her apartment was broken into. And when her son was hospitalized after a car accident, an accident that wasn't really an accident, the hospital refused to treat him. I feel the air leave my lungs. Who did this? Marcus meets my eyes. Victor Lennox. The name lands like a bomb. Victor Lennox, Damon's oldest business partner. The man who stood beside him at every major deal. The man who gave the eulogy at Damon's funeral and called him a brother. Victor, I whisper. He was running the drug trials through a subsidiary called Virones Biotech. Damon didn't know about it at first. But when Tanisha came to him with proof, he realized what Victor was doing. And he tried to stop it. My hands are shaking now. So Damon helped her. He protected her. He did more than that. Marcus says. He paid for her son's surgery out of his own pocket. He set up a trust fund for her under a different identity. He told her to disappear. And then he started pulling out of every deal connected to Victor. I lean against the desk, try to process this. Victor found out. Marcus nods slowly. I think so. And I think that's why Damon's dead. The words hang in the air like a noose. Damon didn't die of a heart attack in his sleep. He was murdered. And the man who killed him is still walking free. If you discovered your partner's death wasn't an accident, would you seek revenge or justice? Comment below. I can't prove it yet, but I know it in my bones. Damon was murdered. Victor Lennox, the man who shook my hand at the funeral, who offered his condolences with that smooth, practiced smile, killed my husband, or had him killed. Either way, his hands are covered in blood. And now I need to know why. The next morning, I dig deeper. I pull every file Marcus gave me. I trace every dollar Damon moved in the months before his death. And a pattern starts to emerge. Damon wasn't just pulling out of deals with Victor. He was building a case against him. Quietly, carefully. He was collecting evidence of the illegal drug trials, documenting the patients who were harmed, preparing to blow the whistle on the entire operation. But he never got the chance, because 2 weeks before he planned to go public, he died in his sleep. Peaceful, sudden, no warning. The autopsy said heart failure, natural causes. But now I'm wondering if someone made it look that way. I pick up the phone and call my private investigator, a woman named Simone Clark. She's the best in the city. Discreet, ruthless, expensive, exactly what I need. I need you to look into Victor Lennox, I tell her. Everything. His businesses, his finances, his connections. And I need you to find out if he had anything to do with my husband's death. Simone doesn't ask questions. I'll have something for you in 48 hours. I hang up and stare out the window. The rain has finally stopped, but the sky is still gray and heavy, like it's holding its breath. I think about Tanisha, about her son, about the way she cried at Damon's grave like he was a hero. Maybe he was, in the end. Maybe the man I thought I knew, the cold, calculating businessman who built an empire on ruthless deals, had a conscience after all. Maybe he tried to do one good thing before it was too late. And maybe that's what got him killed. Later that afternoon, I get a call from my head of security. Mrs. Blackwell, we've been monitoring the property. There's been unusual activity. Vehicles circling the estate. Surveillance equipment detected near the gates. My blood runs cold. Who? We don't know yet. But whoever it is, they're professionals. I close my eyes. Victor, it's possible. I hang up and sit in silence. Victor knows I'm digging. He knows I found the files. And now he's watching me. But he's not the only one watching. Because if he thinks I'm going to sit back and let him get away with murdering my husband, he's underestimated me. I call Marcus again. I need you to set up a meeting with Victor Lennox. Tell him I want to discuss the estate. Make it sound routine. Marcus hesitates. Are you sure that's wise? No, I admit. But I need to look him in the eye. I need to see if he knows that I know. And if he does, I smile coldly. Then we play the game. And we play it better than he ever could. Because Victor Lennox might have built his empire on lies and corruption. But I was married to Damon Blackwell for 15 years. I learned from the best. And now, I'm going to take Victor down. Slowly, quietly, carefully, the way Damon would have wanted. Have you ever had to face someone you knew was guilty but couldn't prove it yet? Tell us your story in the comments. I find Tanisha 2 days later. Simone tracked her down to a rundown motel on the edge of the city. The kind of place where people go when they've run out of options. When they're hiding. I pull up in my car, no driver, no security. Just me. I need to do this alone. The motel is worse than I imagined. Cracked pavement. Flickering neon sign. The smell of mildew and desperation hanging in the air. I walk up to room 12 and knock. There's a long pause. Then the door cracks open just an inch. Tanisha's face appears, pale and frightened. Mrs. Blackwell, she whispers. I want the truth, I say flatly. All of it. She hesitates, then opens the door wider. Inside, the room is tiny. One bed, a broken TV, a small table with half-eaten food. And on the bed, wrapped in a thin blanket, is her son. He's asleep, his small chest rising and falling steadily. Tanisha closes the door behind me and locks it. 3 times. I didn't think you'd come, she says. I didn't think I would either, I admit. I look around the room. Is this where you've been staying? She nods. We move every few weeks. Just to be safe. Safe from who? She meets my eyes. Victor Lennox. I feel the rage building again. Tell me everything. From the beginning. Tanisha sits on the edge of the bed, her hands clasped tightly together. She takes a shaky breath and begins. 2 years ago, I was working at Blackwell Medical Center. I was a nurse in the oncology unit. One night, I was filing patient records when I noticed something strange. Patients were receiving treatments that weren't on their charts. Experimental drugs. No consent forms. No explanations. I lean against the wall, listening. I started digging, she continues. I found invoices from a company called Virones Biotech. They were paying the hospital to run drug trials. But these weren't legal trials. They were testing on vulnerable patients. People who were already sick. People who couldn't fight back. My stomach turns. And you try to report it. I went to the hospital administration. I thought they'd shut it down. But the next day, I was fired. They said I falsified records. That I was unstable. My nursing license was suspended. My reputation was destroyed. She wipes her eyes. Then things got worse. Men started following me. My apartment was broken into. And one night, my son, his name is Isaiah, he was hit by a car. A black sedan. It didn't stop. I closed my eyes, feeling sick. Isaiah was hurt bad. Tanisha says her voice breaking. Skull fracture. Internal bleeding. He needed surgery immediately. But when I brought him to Blackwell Medical, they refused to treat him. Said my insurance was invalid. That I owed money I didn't owe. She's crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. I thought he was going to die. I thought I was going to lose my baby because I tried to do the right thing. I swallow hard. What happened? That night, I was sitting in a hospital parking lot, holding Isaiah in my arms. I didn't know what to do. And then a black car pulled up. A man stepped out. It was your husband. My breath catches. He walked up to me and said, "I know what they did to you." He didn't explain how he knew. He just told me to bring Isaiah inside. He made a phone call, and suddenly the hospital was willing to treat my son. They did the surgery that night. Saved his life. She looks at me with those haunted eyes. And then your husband gave me an envelope. Inside was cash. Enough to disappear. He told me to leave the city. To change my name. He said he'd set up a trust fund for Isaiah. And he said, her voice drops to a whisper. He said he was going to make sure Victor Lennox paid for what he did. I feel tears burning behind my eyes, but I refuse to let them fall. 2 weeks later, Tanisha says quietly, "I saw the news. Your husband was dead." The room is silent except for the sound of Isaiah's soft breathing. I look at Tanisha, at her son, at the life they've been forced to live because they tried to do the right thing. And I make a decision. You're coming with me. I say. Tanisha's eyes widen. What? You and Isaiah. You're staying at my estate. Under my protection. Mrs. Blackwell, I can't. My husband died trying to protect you. I say firmly. I won't let his sacrifice end in fear. She stares at me, tears streaming down her face. Why would you do this? I look at Isaiah, sleeping peacefully on the bed. Because it's what he would have wanted. And because Victor Lennox doesn't get to win. Would you risk everything to protect a stranger if you knew it was the right thing to do? Let us know below. Tanisha and Isaiah move into the estate the next day. I set them up in the East Wing, far from the main house, private, secure. My security team is on high alert. No one gets in or out without clearance. And I make it very clear that if anyone so much as looks at Tanisha or her son the wrong way, they answer to me. For the first time in months, I feel like I'm doing something that matters. But I'm not doing it out of kindness. I'm doing it because I need them. Tanisha is the key to taking down Victor. She has the evidence. She knows the truth. And with her testimony, I can expose everything. But I also realize something else. I'm not just protecting Tanisha for Damon's sake. I'm protecting her because it's the right thing to do. Because somewhere along the way, my anger has shifted. It's not just about revenge anymore. It's about justice. And maybe that's what Damon was trying to teach me all along. That night, I sit with Tanisha in the library. Isaiah is upstairs, finally sleeping in a real bed. Tanisha looks different now. Cleaner, calmer. But the fear is still there, hiding behind her eyes. Why did you come to the grave? I ask. She looks down at her hands. Because I needed to say thank you. And because I needed to tell him I was sorry. Sorry for what? For not being braver. For running instead of fighting. For letting him die, trying to protect us. I shake my head. You didn't let him die. Victor killed him. And we're going to make sure everyone knows it. She looks at me, hope flickering in her eyes. Ow! We're going to do what Damon started. We're going to expose Victor. Quietly. Carefully. And we're going to make sure he can't hurt anyone ever again. Tanisha nods slowly. What do you need from me? Everything. Every document. Every name. Every piece of evidence you have about Varoni's biotech and the illegal drug trials. She hesitates. I have copies. Hidden. I can get them. Good, I say. Because we're about to start a war. and I don't plan on losing. Over the next few days, Tanisha and I work together. She gives me everything she has. Names of patients who were experimented on. Invoices for Vironi's biotech. Email chains between Victor and hospital administrators. It's all there. The proof. The smoking gun. But I don't go to the police. Not yet. Because the police can be bought. Judges can be influenced. And Victor has enough money and power to make this disappear. No, I need to be smarter than that. I call Simone again. I need you to leak this to the press. Anonymously. Call it the widow's witness. Were we leaking? She asks. Evidence of illegal drug trials. Corruption. Corporate negligence. Everything. But do it slowly. One piece at a time. Let the media build the story. Let the public demand justice. Simone is quiet for a moment. Then she says, "You're playing a dangerous game, Mrs. Blackwell." "I know," I say, "but it's the only way to win." The leaks start the next week. Small at first. A news article here. A blog post there. Questions being raised about Vironi's biotech. About Blackwell Medical Center. About the patients who died under mysterious circumstances. And slowly, the pressure starts to build. Victor calls me. His voice is tight, controlled. "Eleanor, we need to talk." "About what?" I say innocently. "About these accusations. These lies being spread about my company." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't play games with me," he snaps. "I know you're behind this." I smile coldly. "Prove it." There's a long silence. Then he says quietly, "You're making a mistake." "No, Victor," I say. "You did. When you killed my husband." I hang up before he can respond. That night, as I'm getting ready for bed, Isaiah knocks on my door. He's holding a stuffed bear, his eyes wide and uncertain. "Mrs. Blackwell," he says softly. "Yes, Isaiah. My mom said you're protecting us. Is that true?" I kneel down, so I'm on level with him. "Yes, it's true." He looks down at his bear. "My mom also said your husband was a hero. Is that true too?" I feel my throat tighten. "Yes, he was brave. And brave people don't always wear capes or win big battles. Sometimes they just choose to protect others, even when it costs them everything." Isaiah's eyes light up. "Like your husband?" I nod. "Yes, like him." He smiles, then hugs me tight. "Thank you for saving us." I close my eyes, holding him close. And for the first time since Damon died, I feel something other than anger. I feel hope. If you could protect one person from danger, who would it be and why? Share your answer below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next when Eleanor faces Victor head-on. The rich don't fall from accusations. They fall from exposure. I learned this truth over the next 3 weeks as I watch Victor Lennox's empire start to crack. It's subtle at first. A canceled contract here, an investor pulling out there, questions being raised in boardrooms, whispers in halls of power. The widow's witness keeps feeding the media, one document at a time, one patient story at a time, and the pressure builds like a storm, gathering strength. Simone does her job perfectly. She leaks to journalists who can't be bought, reporters who actually care about the truth. And slowly, the story spreads. Vironi's biotech, illegal drug trials, patients who died, families who were silenced. And at the center of it all, Victor Lennox. I sit in Damon's office, watching the news coverage on 3 different screens. My fingers are wrapped around a cup of coffee that's gone cold, but I can't look away. A reporter is standing outside Vironi's biotech headquarters, microphone in hand. Sources say federal investigators have opened an inquiry into allegations of unethical medical practices. The company's CEO, Victor Lennox, has declined to comment. I smile. It's working. Marcus walks in without knocking. He looks exhausted. The SEC just announced they're launching an investigation into Vironi's financial records. They're looking for evidence of fraud. Good, I say. What else? 3 major investors pulled out this morning. Victor's stock is dropping fast, and there's talk of a class action lawsuit from the families of patients who were harmed. I set down my coffee cup. How long until it all comes crashing down? Marcus hesitates. If we keep pushing, a month, maybe less. Then we keep pushing. He nods, then pauses. "Eleanor, you need to be careful. Victor knows you're behind this. And desperate men do dangerous things." I meet his eyes. "Let him come. I'm ready. But I'm not as confident as I sound. Because that night, something happens that shakes me to my core. I'm in the library with Tanisha, going over the next batch of documents to leak when my head of security bursts in. His face is pale. Mrs. Blackwell, we have a situation. My heart stops. What kind of situation? Someone tried to breach the East Wing, where Mrs. Raines and her son are staying. Tanisha gasps. I'm on my feet immediately. Where's Isaiah? I demand. He's safe. We stopped them before they got inside. But ma'am, he hesitates. They weren't trying to kidnap him. They were trying to plant something. Plant what? Surveillance equipment. Cameras. Listening devices. My blood turns to ice. Victor isn't just watching anymore. He's trying to gather evidence. Trying to find out what we know. Trying to figure out how to stop us. I look at Tanisha. She's shaking, tears streaming down her face. This is my fault, she whispers. I should have stayed away. I should have. Stop, I say firmly. I take her hands in mine. This isn't your fault. This is Victor's fault. And we're not backing down. But inside, I'm terrified. Because I realize now that this isn't just about justice anymore. It's about survival. Victor will do anything to protect his empire. And that means he'll do anything to silence us. I call Simone immediately. I need you to accelerate the timeline. Release everything. All at once. Eleanor, that's risky. If we dump everything now, we lose control of the narrative. I don't care about control anymore. I snap. I care about staying alive. Victor just tried to blow my house. Who knows what he'll try next? There's a long pause. Then Simone says quietly, I'll have everything ready by morning. Good. Do it. I hang up and turn to Marcus. I want round-the-clock security on Tanisha and Isaiah. No one gets near them. No one. Already done, he says. I nod, then walk to the window. Outside, the estate is lit up like a fortress. Guards patrol the grounds. Cameras watch every corner. But I still don't feel safe. Because Victor Lennox is out there somewhere. Planning, scheming, getting ready to strike. And I know, deep in my bones, that this war is about to get bloody. The next morning, the story breaks everywhere. Every major news outlet, every social media platform. The full scope of Victor's crimes laid bare for the world to see. Illegal drug trials, falsified records, patients who died, families who were paid off, evidence that goes back 5 years. And right there in black and white, Victor Lennox's name on every document. I watch the coverage with Tanisha beside me. She's crying. But this time, they're tears of relief. It's over, she whispers. It's finally over. But I shake my head. No, it's just beginning. Because I know Victor, and I know he won't go down without a fight. My phone rings. It's an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer. Hello. Eleanor. Victor's voice is cold. Hard. We need to talk. When everything you've fought for is finally within reach, would you celebrate or prepare for the final battle? Drop your answer below. Asterisk, asterisk. Legacy isn't what you leave behind. It's who you protect while you're here. Victor shows up at my estate 3 days later. Unannounced. Uninvited. But somehow not unexpected. My security team stops him at the gate, but I tell them to let him through. I want this confrontation. I've been waiting for it. He walks into the library like he owns the place. His suit is perfectly pressed. His hair perfectly styled. But his eyes are filled with rage. You destroyed me, he says without preamble. I lean back in my chair, perfectly calm. No, Victor, you destroyed yourself. He takes a step closer. Do you have any idea what you've done? The SEC has frozen my assets. The board voted me out. My reputation is ruined. Good, I say flatly. You deserve worse. His jaw tightens. Your husband was weak. He let sentiment cloud his judgment. I tried to warn him, tried to make him see reason. But he wouldn't listen. Is that why you killed him? The words hang in the air like a loaded gun. Victor's face goes cold. I didn't kill Damon. Liar. He laughs bitterly. You think you're so smart, so righteous, but you have no idea what you're playing with. Damon knew things that powerful people wanted buried. And when he threatened to expose them, you had him killed. I finish. Victor meets my eyes. I protected the company. I protected our investors. I did what had to be done. My hands are shaking with rage. He was your friend. He was a liability, Victor says coldly. And so are you. I stand up slowly. Get out of my house. Or what? He sneers. You'll call security? You'll have me arrested? The police have nothing on me, Eleanor. Nothing that will stick. I'm too careful for that. I smile. You're right. The police have nothing. But the families of the patients you killed, they have everything. And they're coming for you. Victor's face pales. You see, Victor, I didn't just leak your crimes to the press. I gave all the evidence to the victims' families. And they filed a class action lawsuit. One that will drain every penny you have left. One that will put you in prison for the rest of your life. He stares at me, speechless. You took everything from them. I continue. Their loved ones. Their peace. Their future. Now, they're going to take everything from you. Victor's hands curl into fists. You think you've won? You think this is over? No, I say quietly. It's just beginning. Because now everyone knows what you are. A murderer. A criminal. A man who poisoned innocent people for profit. He takes a step toward me, and for a moment, I think he might actually try to hurt me. But then I hear footsteps behind him. Marcus, my security team, all standing in the doorway. Victor looks around, realizes he's surrounded, and his face twists with fury. This isn't over, he hisses. Yes, it is, I say. Now get out. He storms out, and I watch through the window as his car speeds away. Marcus approaches me. Are you all right? I nod, though my hands are still shaking. I'm Fine. The federal agents are here, he says. They want to ask you some questions about Victor's visit. Send them in. Later that night, after the agents leave, I find Isaiah in the garden. He's sitting on the grass, playing with a toy car Tanisha bought him. He looks up when he sees me. Mrs. Blackwell? Yes, Isaiah. He stands up, brushing dirt off his pants. My mom told me something today. What's that? She said you're a hero, just like Mr. Blackwell. I feel my throat tighten. I kneel down, so I'm at his level. I'm not a hero, Isaiah. I just did what was right. He tilts his head, thinking, isn't that what heroes do? I smile despite myself. Maybe. He hugs me suddenly, his small arms wrapping around my neck. Thank you for saving us. I hold him close, feeling tears sting my eyes. You're welcome, sweetheart. That night, as I'm getting ready for bed, Tanisha knocks on my door. Eleanor, she says softly, can I talk to you? Of course. She sits on the edge of my bed, looking nervous. Isaiah wants to take your last name. Blackwell. He asked me if he could. I freeze. What? He says it sounds strong. Like a hero's name. She wipes her eyes. I told him I'd ask you first. You sit beside her, overwhelmed. Tanisha, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, she says gently. But if you're okay with it, I think it would mean a lot to him. And to me, I think about Damon. About the man he was at the end. The man who tried to do one good thing. The man who gave his life protecting a woman and her child he barely knew. And I realize this is his legacy. Not the empire. Not the money. Not the power. This. Isaiah. Tanisha. The lives he saved. Yes, I whisper. He can have it. Let his name carry the part of Damon that was good. Tanisha smiles through her tears. Thank you. If you could give a child a name that represented hope and strength, what would it be? Share your thoughts below. Asterisk, asterisk. Revenge whispers. Justice roars in silence. Victor's arrest happens faster than I expected. It's early morning when I get the call from Simone. Her voice is excited, almost breathless. They got him. Federal agents raided his home an hour ago. He's being charged with conspiracy, fraud, manslaughter, and obstruction of justice. I sit up in bed, my heart pounding. Are you sure? I'm watching the live coverage right now. It's all over the news. I turn on the TV, and there he is, Victor Lennox, being led out of his mansion in handcuffs. His face is pale, his expensive suit wrinkled, his perfectly styled hair a mess. He looks broken, and I feel nothing. No satisfaction, no triumph, just emptiness. Because winning doesn't bring Damon back. It doesn't erase the pain of the last 3 months. It doesn't undo all the lies and betrayal. But it does give me something. Peace. Later that day, reporters swarm the estate. They want interviews, statements, photos, but I refuse them all. This isn't about me. It never was. I release a single statement through my publicist. Justice has been served. My thoughts are with the families who lost loved ones to Victor Lennox's crimes. May they find peace. Short, simple, final. Marcus finds me in the garden that afternoon. The prosecutors want to know if you'll testify at the trial. I shake my head. Tanisha will testify. She's the one who suffered. She's the one who deserves to be heard. He nods. I'll let them know. Marcus, I say before he leaves. Yes. Thank you. For everything. For helping me find the truth. For standing by me when no one else would. He smiles faintly. Your husband was a good man, Eleanor. Flawed, yes, but good. And you honored his memory by finishing what he started. I watch him walk away, then turn back to the garden. The flowers are blooming. The sun is shining. And for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. That evening, there's a knock on my door. I open it to find Isaiah standing there, holding a drawing. I made this for you, he says shyly. I take the paper. It's a crayon drawing of 3 people holding hands. A woman with dark hair, another woman with lighter hair, and a small boy in the middle. That's you, my mom, and me, he explains. We're a family now. My throat tightens. Yes, we are. He grins, then runs off down the hall. I stare at the drawing for a long time, and I realize something. Damon saved Tanisha and Isaiah. But they saved me too. They gave me a reason to fight, a reason to be better, a reason to believe that even in the darkest moments, there's still light. And maybe that's the real lesson here. That justice isn't about revenge. It's about restoration. It's about taking broken pieces and making something whole again. It's about mercy. The next morning, I wake to the news that Victor's trial date has been set. 6 months from now. The prosecutors are confident they have enough evidence to convict him on all charges. I don't plan to attend. I've already moved on. Instead, I focus on what comes next. I call my lawyers and tell them to start setting up a foundation. One dedicated to protecting whistleblowers. One that helps families who've been silenced by corrupt corporations. I name it the Blackwell Initiative, and I put Tanisha in charge. She hesitates at first. Eleanor, I don't know if I'm qualified. You're more than qualified, I tell her firmly. You risked everything to expose the truth. You survived when others tried to silence you. You're exactly the person who should be running this. She smiles through tears. Okay, I'll do it. Within weeks, the foundation is up and running. We hire staff, set up offices, start reaching out to families who need help. And slowly, the Blackwell name starts to mean something different. Not power, not wealth, not ruthless ambition, but hope, protection, justice. Damon would be proud. If you had the power to create change, what cause would you fight for? Let us know in the comments. ***. Some endings aren't about closure. They're about beginning again, differently. 1 year later, I return to Damon's grave. It's a clear day. No rain. Just blue sky and warm sun. The flowers around his headstone are fresh. Yellow roses, his favorite. Isaiah placed them there this morning before school. I stand there for a long time, just looking at his name carved in marble. Damon Blackwell, beloved husband, visionary, leader. The words don't hurt anymore, because now I know the truth. Damon wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. He built an empire on questionable deals and ruthless ambition. But at the end, he tried to do something good. He tried to save a woman and her son. He tried to expose corruption. He tried to be better. And that's what I choose to remember. You did one good thing, Damon. I whisper. Maybe that's what saved us all. I hear footsteps behind me. I turn to see Tanisha walking up the path, Isaiah's hand in hers. He's grown taller in the past year. Stronger. Healthier. He smiles when he sees me. Hi, Mrs. Blackwell. Isaiah. Tanisha stops beside me, looking at the grave. He asked if he could visit again today. He wanted to thank Mr. Blackwell for saving us. I feel my chest tighten. Isaiah steps forward and places a small toy car on the headstone. My mom says you were brave, Mr. Blackwell, and that brave people protect others even when it's hard. So thank you for protecting us. I wipe my eyes quickly. Tanisha turns to me. There's something I wanted to tell you. Isaiah officially changed his last name yesterday. The paperwork went through. I look at her. What's his full name now? She smiles. Isaiah Damon Blackwell. My breath catches. You gave him Damon's first name? Yes, she says softly. Because your husband gave my son a second chance at life. And I want him to carry that legacy forward. I can't speak. I just pull her into a hug. We stand there together at Damon's grave. Three people whose lives were shattered by corruption and greed, but who found healing in each other. And I realize this is what redemption looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet moments of grace. Later that afternoon, I attend the opening ceremony of the Blackwell Initiative's first community center. It's in a neighborhood that needs it most, where families struggle, where voices get silenced, where hope is hard to find. But today there's hope. The center offers legal aid, counseling, job training, and support for whistleblowers and their families. Tanisha stands at the podium, giving the opening speech. She's confident now, strong, a survivor who became a fighter. Isaiah sits in the front row, wearing a little suit. He waves at me, and I wave back. After the ceremony, reporters ask me for a statement. I keep it brief. My husband believed that power should protect, not destroy. This center is his legacy, and I'm honored to see it come to life. That evening, as I drive back to the estate, I get a call from Simone. Eleanor, I thought you'd want to know. Victor Lennox was sentenced today. 25 years in federal prison. No parole. I pull over to the side of the road. 25 years. The judge said his crimes were among the most egregious cases of corporate corruption she'd ever seen. He'll spend the rest of his life behind bars. I sit in silence, letting it sink in. Justice. Finally. Thank you, Simone, for everything. You did the hard work, Eleanor. I just helped connect the dots. I hang up and sit there for a long time, watching the sun set over the city. Victor's fortune was auctioned off last month. Every penny went to the families he harmed. His name was removed from every building, every foundation, every plaque. He's been erased, and in his place, something better has grown. That night, I sit in the library with a glass of wine, looking at the drawing Isaiah gave me a year ago, the one with the three of us holding hands. Tanisha walks in, carrying 2 mugs of tea. Thought you could use some company. I smile. Always. She sits beside me. Do you ever regret it? Everything you went through to bring Victor down. I think about the sleepless nights, the fear, the danger, the weight of carrying Damon's legacy. Then I think about Isaiah, about Tanisha, about all the families we've helped through the foundation. No, I say, I don't regret it. Good, she says, because you changed our lives, and we're never going to forget that. We sit in comfortable silence, 2 women who started as strangers and became family. And I realize this is what Damon's legacy really is. Not the empire he built, not the wealth he accumulated, but the lives he touched, the people he saved, the hope he gave to a homeless mother and her son. That's what lasts. What do you think makes a legacy worth leaving? Share your answer below. This question matters more than you think. Asterisk, asterisk. The world will forget the noise, but it will remember the silence that changed everything. 2 years after Damon's death, the Blackwell Initiative has grown beyond anything I imagined. We've opened 4 more community centers across the country. We've helped over 300 families who've been silenced by corruption. We've funded legal battles against corporations who think they're untouchable. And we've won. Tanisha runs the operations with a fierce dedication that inspires everyone around her. She's become the face of the foundation, appearing on news programs, speaking at conferences, telling her story so others know they're not alone. Isaiah is thriving. He's 11 now, excelling in school, and already talking about becoming a lawyer so he can help people like his mom. He still visits Damon's grave every month, bringing fresh flowers and toy cars. And me? I finally found peace. I sold most of Damon's business holdings, kept only what was necessary to fund the foundation. The estate is smaller now, quieter, but it feels like home in a way it never did before. This morning, I wake to sunlight streaming through my window. I get dressed and head downstairs to find Tanisha and Isaiah already in the kitchen, making breakfast. Morning, Eleanor, Tanisha says with a warm smile. Morning. Isaiah rushes over and hugs me. Guess what? I got an A on my history project. That's wonderful, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. He beams. We sit together at the table, eating and laughing. And I realize this is what I fought for. Not revenge, not justice, but this. Family, love, a second chance. Later that day, I receive a letter. It's from one of the families we helped through the foundation. A mother whose daughter was harmed in Victor's drug trials. She writes about how grateful she is, how the settlement we helped her win allowed her daughter to get proper medical care, how she finally has hope again. I read the letter twice, tears streaming down my face. This is why I did it. That evening, I return to Damon's grave one last time. I place a single white rose on the headstone and sit on the bench nearby. I kept my promise, I say quietly. I finished what you started. I protected Tanisha and Isaiah. I made sure Victor paid for what he did. And I turned your name into something good. The wind rustles through the trees. Birds sing in the distance. I know our marriage wasn't perfect. We had our problems. But at the end, you chose to be better. And that choice saved 3 lives. Tanisha's, Isaiah's, and mine. I stand up, brushing off my coat. Rest easy, Damon. Your work is done. As I walk back to my car, I feel lighter. Free. Like I've finally let go of the weight I've been carrying. The foundation will continue. Tanisha will make sure of that. Isaiah will grow up knowing his life has purpose. And I'll keep fighting for families who have no voice. Because that's what quiet justice looks like. It doesn't seek applause. It doesn't demand recognition. It simply restores balance, protects the vulnerable, gives hope to those who've lost it. And in doing so, it redeems not just the victims, but also those who fight for them. 3 months later, I'm at the Foundation's annual gala. The ballroom is filled with donors, supporters, and families we've helped. Tanisha is on stage, accepting an award for her work. She looks out at the crowd and says, 2 years ago, I was homeless, terrified, and convinced that the world had forgotten me. But one man chose to see me, to help me, to protect me when no one else would. And his widow chose to finish what he started. She looks directly at me. Eleanor Blackwell taught me that power isn't about money or influence. It's about what you do with it. And I promise to use everything I've learned to help others the way she helped me. The room erupts in applause. I wipe my eyes, overwhelmed. After the gala, Isaiah runs up to me. Eleanor, did you see my mom's speech? She was amazing. I agree, just like you. He grins. When I grow up, I want to be just like Mr. Blackwell. And you, I kneel down. Then be better than both of us. Learn from our mistakes. And never stop fighting for what's right. I promise, he says seriously. I hug him tight. That night, as I drive home, I think about everything that's happened. The pain, the loss, the fight, the victory. And I realize this was never just about justice for Damon. It was about proving that even in the darkest moments, even when everything seems hopeless, one person can make a difference. One act of courage can inspire others. One choice to do the right thing can change countless lives. And that's the legacy I want to leave. Not wealth, not power, but hope. The next morning, I wake to a phone call from a journalist. She's writing a book about corporate corruption and wants to interview me. I'll think about it, I tell her. Because maybe it's time to tell this story. Not for me, but for all the families still fighting, still struggling, still hoping that someone will see them. Maybe Damon's story, our story, can give them strength. As I hang up, I look out the window at the rising sun. A new day, a new beginning, and I smile. Because the fight isn't over. There are still corporations that need to be held accountable. Still families that need protection. Still voices that need to be heard. And I'm not done yet. None of us are. The work continues. The foundation grows. And somewhere out there, another Tanisha is waiting for someone to believe her. Another Isaiah is waiting for a second chance. And when they need us, we'll be there. Because that's what quiet justice does. It endures. It persists. It never gives up. And it always protects those who cannot protect themselves. This story proves that one person's courage can change everything. If this moved you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because next week, we're bringing you another powerful true story about a teacher who discovered a secret that could destroy an entire school district. But choosing to expose it would cost her everything she loves. You won't want to miss it. Drop a comment below telling us, what would you sacrifice to protect someone who couldn't protect themselves? Your stories inspire us and help others find strength in their own battles. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that justice isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet choices that change the world. See you in the next one, family. ***.